Leaving the DeMeco Ryans press conference. If there's such thing as winning a press conference, it happened. And it happened with a lot of substance. The early vibes, the early feels with all the former players here, all the current players, it felt almost like a pep rally. And you wondered how much substance you were going to get. Is this going to have a true press conference feel where you get information and whatnot? And then as soon as he started talking, it became very apparent why he was the top candidate on the market this year, why Denver wanted him more than Sean Payton, and why the Houston Texans wanted him. He went in depth on what he looks for in players. He went in depth about, how he treats players. He said he loves them hard, he coaches them hard, which can be a cliche, but he also went into depth about, Fred Warner and Fred Warner as a player and Fred Warner as a husband and a man and all that. He talked about all the lessons that his mom taught him. And when it came to ball, he had a lot of good things to say about the young defensive players like Derek Stingley, who was in attendance, and Jalen Petrie. He had a lot of really good things to say about offensive football, being able to disguise stuff, went in depth on his education, not just from Kyle Shanahan, but I thought it was really interesting, his education from Chip Kelly, which a lot of people might roll their eyes, but if you think about it, the year that Chip Kelly was with DeMeco, it was a very innovative thing early on. He won 10 games in the first season. A lot of people were saying, this is the trend in the direction the NFL is heading in. You're talking about sports science and all that. And then it kind of came tumbling down. So DeMeco was able to kind of observe that. I never really thought about that, but it was cool to hear him go in depth on that. He talked about early on in his career, mentoring Jordan Hicks and mentoring Brian Cushing and seeing how things went for them and, just kind of the satisfaction he got out of that. Talked about that being something that he valued in coaching. Nick Caserio. I mean, we talked about neutered Nick last press conference. That dude was awesome. He's funny. He seems loose. It does seem like this is, the Nick Caserio that a lot of people have wanted to see. And I can't help but think the absence of the POS and being able to work with actual football guys, no matter what the relationship was. By the way, person of service, shout out to him. Jack, not really a shout out, screw you. But it was nice to get to see Nick a little bit more loosened up. He was asked about the quarterback position. He said that it takes a whole team, kind of left that open. There was a reference to when he might have wanted some linebackers and they went with Elijah Mitchell instead. So I'm sure that's a nugget that will be run with. And he just really went into there's always going to be some cliches with coaches, but the way in which DeMeco Ryans expanded on the answers, the way in which DeMeco Ryans elaborated, you could feel the authenticity. You could feel like football-wise that he knew what he was doing in more ways than one, that he knew the roster. And Nick Caserio said in their last meeting, or their first meeting, I should say, the first interview, DeMeco Ryans said, when asked, the generic, is there anything you'd like to add in this interview? He said, I want to come home. Let's get this done. This is a dream job for me, or something along those lines. So any notion that DeMeco Ryans didn't want this job, it's flat out made up. And that I don't think that was ever the case. And that's just not true. So hell of a press conference. We'll react to it 9 o'clock on the stream, little Q&A. All that, and it's going to be fun. And Cal seemed pretty loose too. Oh, by the way, Bump B, Trey the Truth, they were here. You had probably about 40 former players and probably about a dozen current players. So it was an active day. The vibes are up. The feelings are good. DeMeco Ryans hit it out of the park. A lot of excitement around here. Let's talk about it tonight. If this dude doesn't roll up on me, I don't know what the heck he's doing. But yeah, nice one. Good press conference. A+, podium critic grade. Cold as hell. Subscribe, like, #1 source for daily Texans digital content. Let's get it. DeMeco Ryans, A+ podium critic grade. Best opening coach press conference I've ever seen. Best press conference in Texans history. Not that I'm getting too dramatic or anything.